Hey guys, this is Pastor Matt with NorthWoods Church. I'm here today to talk to you about the Church Center app, which is the app that NorthWoods is going to be using to communicate with our church members. Now, if you have not installed the Church Center app on your phone or your device, we have a separate video that we played during worship on how to install that app on your phone. If you need assistance doing that, please watch that video first, and we'll have a link to that in the information comments section of this video. But today we're going to talk about the different features of Church Center. This is going to be a longer video, just kind of digging into what to do with Church Center. When you first open up Church Center, it's going to have your profile up. And this profile page is going to include things like your name, your volunteer schedule, and then all your activity and involvement. Not every ministry at this point in time uses the scheduling app. I know our kids ministry does, our student ministry often does, and then definitely our worship and media ministry uses the scheduling app, and some other ministries may do that in the future. But this first page is kind of just a quick overview of everything that you're involved in. The first thing you can access on the first page is when you click on the top where it says Hello Matthew. This is going to be all your basic information for the church. I'm not going to click on right now the button that says contact and profile information, because if you click on that, it's all your personal information. But you'll definitely want to check that just to make sure all your information is correct with the church. And if you move or you change phone numbers or change contact information, that's an easy way to change your information with the church, just to click on that and then change your information. Household is going to be a listing of all the people that are in your household. And then directory profile, we will click on that. Directory profile, it's a listing of all the information that you want to share in our church directory. And so if you want to include your profile photo in the church directory, you can, if it's checked, that means that's up. And then you can include or not include your birthday. Now, your birthday, as shown on the church directory, is only going to show the month and the day. It's not going to show the year. But if I didn't want to include my birthday, for example, I can toggle that off, and then people in the church wouldn't know my birthday. But for me, I don't care. So they can see it. Also, there's a opportunity to show a photo for your entire household. It's showing the people that I have listed in my household according to the church. I can, if I wanted to change the photo, I can just push edit for my household photo. And then I could take a photo or choose a photo from my photo library. I'm content with this photo for now, so I'm not going to change it. And then you can also have an option for what profile or directory information is shared with people for your spouse and then also your kids. Say, for example, if I didn't want to show my daughter's birthday, I could toggle that off, and then people wouldn't see that information. But in this case, yeah, everybody can see my daughter's information. If you needed to update information, just make sure you hit the word update before you get out of there. That's the main things in the profile and settings. The home button, that will take you to a home page for NorthWoods Church, which just gives some basic information about the church. It's just kind of a landing page. Where I want to go next is on the top right corner of your screen. I see my friendly face. For some of you, if you don't have a picture loaded up yet, you will just see the initials of your name. I'm going to click on that at the top right corner, and that takes me back to my home screen. Another thing that I can do, just to mention this, is that under contact and profile information, that's where I can add a picture of myself. We would love for you to do that, to have a picture of yourself and then your household as well. It just helps us as pastors to know who you are. We have a lot of people in the church, and sometimes it's difficult to connect names and faces, and that would just help us to have that information so that we know who you are and how to help you best. So anyway, I'm going to go back to the home screen. Another button at the top right corner that you'll see is a little bell, and for me that little bell has a red dot on it. That is your notifications button. If you do have new notifications there for your profile from the church, that button will be red, and so it looks like I have a new notification. So I'm going to click on the bell there, and it's going to pull up all of my notifications. And in this case, there's some notes from the gathering night 2 that are there, and I'm going to just mark all as red. You're all caught up, and I go back to the home screen, and now I don't have the red button on my bell. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to show you is signups. So down at the bottom, the second button on the bottom menu is signups. You click on that, and that shows all of the various events that we have here at NorthWoods Church for a few months out. And so this is going to be a complete list. It defaults to all categories, but you can switch. There's a drop-down menu at the top of the screen. If you click on that drop-down menu, you can actually sort these events by what you're looking for. So I have a high school student. If I was looking for only the events for high school and didn't want to see all the events of the church, I can click on that, and then it sorts things out. It doesn't say there's anything, but it looks like that's, if I click on student ministry, there we go. So that pulls up a couple different things that are going on for our student ministry, the entire 7th through 12th grade. Let me go back to all categories, and you will see a variety of things that are listed here. Let me sign up for something. I am not in the 55 Club. I have not crossed that barrier yet, but let me sign up for the 55 Club dinner that they're going to have on August 21st of 2023. To sign up for that, I'm going to click on that event. It tells me the date of the event, some times. It might give you some information in the case of our kids ministry and our student ministry, and even our women's events. Men's events is going to give you some basic information about what the event is all about. So if I wanted to register for this, it says registration is open. So I push the register button. It opens up another screen. First, I'm going to choose how many people I want to register. So today I'm just going to register myself. And I see myself. This is the person I'm registering. I'm registering Matthew Higgins. And I've selected one person. And I'm going to select who that person in my household is. So I'm going to register myself. Push next. So to review, there's one person I'm registering for the 55 Club dinner. I'm going to push register. And it says, thanks for registering the 55 Club dinner. Oh, and an email is coming up on my phone saying that I've registered for that dinner as confirmation. And then it says down at the bottom of the registration page, it says, do you need help? And it gives the contact for our church for this particular event. So if you had any questions, you could contact our church secretary, Diane Edwards. And so that's helpful just to know who to contact in case you have questions for that event. I'm going to close that. So now I've successfully registered for an event. And so any of these events that are here, whether it be the gathering or Awana or our student ministry, you can register for those things here. The third button at the bottom is the media button. Let's click on that. The media button, currently we have two different items that are listed here. First says Sunday morning worship. You click on Sunday morning worship, and you have all of our past services going back to 2020. Now, we are currently not live streaming over the Church Center app. We're just posting services after they are completed. The first thing that will come up on our Sunday morning worship is the last sermon that was done and the last service that was done here at NorthWoods. Let's say I want to watch that. I just push watch. And then it comes up with the YouTube video for that particular event, you click on it, and it pulls up the YouTube video for that event. You can scroll down. It gives the last couple recent episodes of our latest sermon series. If you push the View All button, that gives you like every single service that we've done back to 2020. Another easier way to look for old services is if you scroll even further, it says recent series. And so let's say that you missed some services this summer and you wanted to see some of our guest speakers that were here during Bobby's sabbatical, or maybe you just liked one sermon that was preached and you wanted to go back to it. And so by clicking on that, this is going to this is going to pull up all of the services that were here this summer. Now, right beside the word recent series, it says View All. Now, if you click on that, these are all of the series that we have done as NorthWoods Church going back to 2020. Now, we are constantly in the process of updating our library. Our goal is to go back as far as possible. Ultimately, we can go back to 2016. It's going to take a while, but that is our goal. But if you scroll through here, this is all of the different series that we have done, whether it's Daniel or Hebrews, some of our Easter services, Christmas services, our Go and Tell conference, Psalms, everything going back to the Philippians series that we did back in 2020. So there's a lot of different options for content that are here under our sermon series. Now let's go back one. The next thing you'll find here is the NorthWoods Church Matters podcast. It's all of our different podcasts that we've done over time. So click on that. It's going to pull up the latest podcast that is available. And you can see, just like the sermons, recent episodes, and then recent series. And if you push the button that says View All, it's going to pull up all the different topics that we have for our podcast. And so let's say you wanted to see podcasts about marriage and family. And so here's what you're going to do. You're going to push on the button that says Marriage and Family. And it's going to pull up all the different podcasts that we've done over time related to marriage and family issues. And you can pull up any one of those and listen to it. And so this is a good way to pull up podcasts by different topics that we have. So that's the stuff in our media. The next button at the bottom it says Directory. So let me push on that. So this is going to pull up the church directory. Now, to get on the church directory, Church Center is very conscientious about giving out your information, that we don't want to give out information without your permission. So if you don't see yourself on this list, how to get on the directory list is our office has to send you an email. And if you've been a regular attender or member for a while here at NorthWoods, you've probably have already gotten an email from us in regard to this. You may want to go back and search your emails for a link to the church directory to give permission to be added to the church directory. You can also access and give permission for the church directory in your personal profile by toggling that on. I'll show you that again here in a second. There's two ways to view the church directory, people who have given permission for their information to be shared. The first way, you'll see at the top right a little dude that is highlighted. This is how to view people individually in our listing. And so let's see, I wanted to pull up the Higgins family and see who our Higginses are. I type in Higgins, then push search, and voila, I see all of the people that are Higginses here in the church. Let me close that out. So it takes me back to the front page. Now, there's another way to view this information You can view it not by individual person, you can view it by household. So you can scroll through and see everybody in your household on the app. Let me click on my household, the Higgins household, and this will show you all the people that are in my household. Just to let you know, here again is the option for selecting a profile picture for your entire household. So if you click on the pencil button, it takes you to my directory profile information again, and when you go down to household photo and you push edit, that'll give you the option of adding a new picture to your household profile. And as I said, I was going to get back to how to add yourself to the church directory profile. You can add yourself by making sure that there is a check mark by your name. And so if I turn that off, I'm not able to be accessed in the church directory. If I check that again, then I'm listed in the church directory, and then I got to go and include my profile picture and my birthday, and we'll go ahead and make that update. And voila, we are there again. Excuse me while I take a sip of coffee. Now, when we push the More button, there's a couple different things that are important under the More button. There's just not enough space on that bottom toolbar to see everything. So More, there's two different things that are extremely important. One is the word groups. Now, if we were doing small groups right now, this would be the methodology that you use in order to sign up for a small group. But we are not doing small groups right now, so we are using, as I get a message from my daughter that Taylor Swift is coming to Indianapolis. So you click on the groups button, and this is the information that we are using for the gathering. And so eventually you will have a group listed under here for your gathering table. And I've set up a test one right here. It says Gathering Table 21. And so if I click on my group, it'll pull up a couple different things that are important for our groups here. The first thing that's pulled up is what's called messages. And so I already have a couple messages from my group leader, which is me, which is prayer requests, and it pulls up just a basic thread here. Add a request here. I can heart that comment, or I can reply to the list, pray for my pinky finger. Boom. And I've added a message to this thread. So everybody in table 21 will be able to see this thread. Like another thing that I have here in this messages is dessert. So like if we had we needed a thread for our table, like what are you bringing for food to the event? And so I have put in here that I'm bringing chocolate waffles for dessert. I'm going to pray for that. Okay. Now, anybody should be able to start a group thread. And so if you wanted to start a group conversation with your group, you can just push new, you add a title, let's say just talking, and then add a message, tell me something good. And now I've started a new thread with my group. All right. And so you go back to messages, you'll see all these three different threads that have been created for my group. Under events, you'll be able to see what's happening. And so gathering night 1, I've created a date for that for the gathering. And then you can RSVP. It's also got the location. This is helpful for events that may not be on campus. It has a little map on there to show you where to go. You can update your RSVP. Right now it says, I'll be there. Let me change that to, I'm not sure. And now it says, hey, you might be going. And I can actually add a note here. I can say, cool people will be there. Done. And I added a note to that particular event. Third thing there is resources. And so if you wanted to share a resource with your group, for example, I put the gathering notes for night 1 here. And if you click on that link, it'll take you to a link for the different notes. You can add PDFs or documents or other information for your group here. And then you can also see the members of your group. So I don't really have a table right now. This is a test table. So I just have me and Rachel here as just a test case. But in reality, when we add these groups for either the gathering or your small group, you'll be able to see all the members of your small group, and you'll be able to pull up information that they've chosen to share, and then you'll be able to communicate with individual members. Now, in addition to that, you can add a member to your group without having to go through the church and having us just manually enter it into our database. So if somebody shows up to your small group or your gathering table and they're like, hey, this is cool, I'd like to be a part of it, how do I get added to your table group? Well, the easiest way to do it is to push the add button here in members. And what it's going to do is going to pull up a QR code. And you have that person that's sitting at your table or in your group to pull up their phone to add the Church Center app. And after they've added the Church Center app to their phone, all they have to do is scan this QR code and they can be added to your table or added to your group. There's also a little button here that says add by email or text. You can add somebody by sending them an email or a text. And if they don't use QR codes or something like that, or they're not present with a phone, you can also add them that way. So you have the power here. You can add somebody to your group as well. So that's our group stuff. Last thing to talk to you about is check-in. I am really excited about this as a family pastor because I remember the not so good old days where check-in at the kids table was an extremely lengthy process. And so how this works is that if there were events that were coming up, for example, Awana or Sunday school or youth ministry, if I wanted to check in my kids, those would be listed here under check-in. And then you could, while you are not while you're driving, before you're driving, when you're getting ready to head to church, you can go ahead and check in your kids in advance, and it gives you a QR code to scan. And when you get here to church, all you have to do is use that QR code to receive your tags and check in your kids here at church. So that's so convenient to be able to use that. It's also an extremely helpful thing to do with our kids ministry folks. It saves everybody a bunch of time, so I highly recommend using that. All right, well, that's all the features that we have here on the Church Center app. Again, the most important things that you can do for us as staff, just to reiterate this, on the top right button, make sure you select that home button every once in a while, click on your profile, and make sure your contact information and profile information is correct. That helps us here at the church. Make sure that you include a picture under your profile information for yourself personally. That helps us as a church. And make sure that you have a picture for your household as well. That just is a tremendous help to us. It saves us a lot of time just to know who you are and have your information. And it also helps other people as they're going through the directory profile to say, hey, who is the Smith family? And to be able to look up the members of the Smith family and being able to identify them here in church. So that's the Church Center app. I'm thankful to have this time with you to talk about the app. If you have any questions, you can talk to our church staff on Sunday morning, and you can call the church office at 812-402-4954. I'd be happy to walk with you through the Church Center process. The other person on staff that's really good with Church Center is Rachel Bland. She would be happy to help you through this as well. So don't feel afraid to reach out. We're here to help, and we're thankful to have this new tool to communicate with you at NorthWoods Church.